赚的钱不够。
Making money might not be easy, but many women who say they don't want to date anymore, it's actually because men are waking up. They get neither love nor money, and this is where the gambling mindset of older single women kicks in full force. Don't they know they're getting older? They know better than anyone. That's exactly why they want to cash out big. Find a guy with good conditions, who treats them well, has a good job, and so on. Men, after being played by POA, pickup artist tactics for years, have finally figured out how relationships really work. If he chases you, you call him a simp. If he tries to reason with you, you say he's lecturing. If he talks about the future, you say he's selling dreams. Sometimes a man might actually love you, but the moment he thinks about money, he just can't love you anymore. Then you'll say, "Am I not more important than money?" If you really want to push that question, then here's the hard truth. Of course you're more important than money, but a man can live without you. He can't live without money, and without money he won't have you either. Don't argue with that. The idea of romantic gestures has already killed more love than you can imagine.
如果两个人在一起能很开心的话，我觉得这些都不是问题。
你觉得他凭什么这么要求？
但是我说句真话，现在部分女性的这个价值观确实，存在着一定的偏差，或者说三观有点不正。并不一定说你非要求为什么对方就一定要有房有车才能娶你，我为什么要娶你呢？对吧？那你给我一个解释，对不对？为什么你要求我有房有车，那我还要问你，那我为什么一定要娶你呢？对不对？这个人和人之间的感情都是建立在一定的基础之上的，不要过分的提一些不合理的要求。如果说咱们双方共同达成好的一致意见的话，这个我觉得 OK 车房这个都 OK。但是如果你什么都不跟我说，或者说什么前提条件基础都没有，甚至连一点感情基础都没有，你就给我上来就给我提这个条件，你不觉得自己很荒唐？
For a long time, there was barely any talk about China's so-called leftover women. But recently, that silence was broken by a wave of viral videos showing matchmaking events organized by city governments. In these clips, hundreds, sometimes thousands of women flood the venue like a tidal wave, while the number of men barely reaches double digits. These images exposed a brutal truth. Men are abandoning the dating and marriage market en masse. While everyone focuses on the 30 million men who can't find a wife, few realize that the number of single women has already surpassed 100 million. What's happening is unprecedented. Men are embracing a lifestyle many call suicidal singleness or revenge celibacy. They're using silence and withdrawal as a form of protest against a system they see as absurd and unfair. In 2024, marriage registrations dropped to 6.1 million couples, a 20.5% decline from the year before. At the same time, 2.62 million couples filed for divorce. More and more men are choosing not to marry, not to have children, not out of impulse, but because they've simply run out of patience. One netizen summed up the exhaustion. "Nowadays, I'm even scared to talk to a girl. Suddenly, she's hungry. Her phone broke, she has no clothes, her perfume ran out, her concealer's finished, her sunscreen's gone, it's her birthday, rent's due, her gambling dad is sick, her mom's in the hospital, her brother's a loser. Just by talking to her, I apparently ruined her whole life." Another added, with irony, "Thieves don't wear ski masks anymore. They wear wedding dresses." The truth is, male enthusiasm for relationships has hit absolute zero. And this absurd state has everything to do with how capitalism first put women on a pedestal only to sacrifice them right there. What started as equality turned into distortion. A man with a modest background and an honest job is now labeled a loser. But a woman in the exact same position is a queen, a goddess, a princess. This worship created an artificial gap between the sexes. Many women were led to live in a fantasy, inflated by hollow compliments, greed, and vanity, until it became unsustainable. Thus began a curious phenomenon. A 500 yuan meal is now beneath her. Only something in the 3,000, 5,000 range can satisfy her vanity. A 5,000 yuan purse is unimpressive. Only a 50,000 yuan luxury brand is worthy of her hands. Psychologist Alfred Adler once warned, "Too much praise distorts self-image and creates a false sense of superiority." A woman placed on a pedestal like that loses her grip on reality, and that's where consumerism springs its trap. Lipstick becomes a measure of love. Skincare is sold as personal investment. Luxury brands are treated like trophies of independence. Capitalism created a value system where everything social status, attractiveness, identity, self-worth is measured through consumption. In the past, a woman's value was tied to fertility, homemaking, and building a family. But with consumerism, those values were replaced. Now, a woman is worth as much as she spends. And that turned her into a permanent sacrifice on the altar of consumption. Using data and algorithms, marketers map out female anxieties and invent characters. The independent boss babe, the powerful princess, the muse who needs no man. Holidays like Women's Day become excuses to push more products. The Shanghai socialite sipping tea and luxury brand halls become new symbols of nobility, as if consumption were a modern form of aristocracy. Products become sacred items. A wet wipe is filled with motherly love and costs triple. A regular ring is rejected, but one with the phrase, "a gift for life," sells for 300% more. A basic cosmetic becomes holy awakening water. Lip fillers are now a sign of social ascension. Chinese women pay up to 4.2 times more for items sold as self-love products. Social media reinforces the trap. Not consuming is almost a social death sentence. According to Ogilvy, women in big cities spend nearly 5,000 yuan per month just to maintain their image online. The pressure to prove their worth through spending is suffocating. And to make it worse, the financial system tightens the noose. The message of love yourself becomes eternal debt. More than half of women born in the 90s use installment plans. Even with annual interest rates of 36%, over 2 million women take out loans just to pay off previous ones. One company reported 73% of women using revolving credit debt stacked on top of debt. That's why, at blind dates, many women now directly ask if the man is willing to cover her debts 30, 40, even 50,000 yuan. According to Bain & Company, female consumption now moves over 10 trillion yuan in China, accounting for more than 70% of household buying decisions. But the problem is, their income doesn't sustain this lifestyle. Even in big cities, while more women are buying homes, men still own 1.6 times more properties. In the stock market, women make up 38% of investors, but their assets are worth half as much as men's. And in the workforce, among those aged 20-35, women still earn only 78.3% of what men do. This leads to a new dynamic. Female debt is passed on to men. And to convince them, marketing goes all out. If he really loves you, even his grave will bloom with your favorite flowers. There are no ugly women, only lazy ones. An independent woman doesn't need to earn money. Men are tools. When they stop working, throw them out. If he loves you, swipe his card. They even twist the numbers. There are too many men and too few women. If you don't spend on her, you'll die alone and childless. And men who refuse are humiliated. A man who doesn't buy gifts is trash. A man who doesn't send money is worthless. A man who doesn't spend is a male cancer. Television dramas show CEOs falling for janitors, creating insane expectations. No one can stay sane under this much fantasy. After so much brainwashing, many women start seeing men as either financial resources or obstacles to eliminate. The gap between their expectations and reality breeds frustration, resentment, and conflict. Suddenly, average men aren't good enough. He has to be tall, handsome, rich, charming all at once. Here's a clear example. At a dating event in Shenzhen, a woman earning 3,000 yuan demanded a man who's younger, good-looking, and earns over 1 million yuan a year. She even wrote, "If that's the case, I might consider it." But men like that barely exist in all of China. This extreme idealization leads many women to despise their husbands shortly after marriage. Relationships become temporary placeholders. They fear being submissive, but also fear losing. Deep down, some feel the world owes them just for getting married. But real life doesn't let you have it all. Every choice has a cost. Men who choose stability give up freedom. Those who choose risk may win big or lose everything. You can't have security and adventure at the same time. In recent years, women's dissatisfaction with marriage has only grown. Female cheating rates rose from 8.7% in 2010 to 17.3% in 2023. In major cities, it's already above 24.6%. In the past, a man looked for a partner to share his destiny through joy and pain. Today, many feel marriage has become an emotional black hole where the man goes all in and ends up empty-handed. But young men are waking up. They're freeing themselves from outdated expectations. They're no longer fooled by illusions sold by capital. They've realized that in this one-sided game of sacrifice, there's no real happiness or respect to be found. So, they're walking away. With 500 yuan, they throw a party with friends and feel true joy. With 10,000, they take their parents on a trip and make lasting memories. And the 300,000 yuan bride price? They invested in themselves and watch life bloom. In the end, the cruelest truth is this: men, women, and society as a whole, we're all victims. There are no winners. In the end, China might look like a parallel universe. But is it really? Because if you look closely, a lot of what's happening over there is already starting to echo over here too. Disenchanted men, women growing increasingly demanding, and relationships treated like transactions. And love, simple, genuine love, getting buried deeper and deeper under layers of expectations, comparisons, and credit card bills. The difference is, in China, it's already an official collapse. There are numbers, graphs, news reports. Here in the West, we still mask it with memes, TikTok rants, and cliches like, people just don't want anything serious these days. But in practice, a lot of men are quietly quitting the game. And a lot of women are wondering why, with so many options, no one stays. In the end, maybe we're not that different after all. The real question is there still time to rebalance the game, or has it already become every man for himself and the algorithm for all? If you enjoy reflections like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel. There's still a lot for us to unpack together. And of course, drop your thoughts in the comments, especially if you think all of this is an overreaction or if you're just tired of the game too. See you in the next video.